So, good morning. I am Cyrus Jarel Villanueva. So, that's me. I am from Bachelor's of Science in Information System, or BSIS-3 in the University of Caloocan City. So, in this video, I shall be showing you the download and installation of XAMPP as well as the basic queries and some other extra queries such as alter table and drop table. So, a bit of a disclaimer. This video tutorial is for educational purposes only and for practical and for the partial completion of the subject database system enterprise, which is being handled by Professor Vicente Tabacolde. So with that out of the way, let's start. So first off, open your browser and type in Apache friends.org. So you shall be redirected to Apache Friends website. So as you can see here, I am using Windows as my operating system. So I will be clicking this download link for Windows. But if you have other operating system such as Linux or for Mac, there's also links for you. So I'll click this for Windows. So as you can see, after I've clicked it, it will automatically start my download and it'll download here. So that will take a couple of minutes to finish. So let's cancel that because I already actually downloaded it beforehand. So this is the file that you will be downloading from that website. So I downloaded it for convenience purposes. So let's open it up. So it'll show you it will ask you permission to run the software itself. So you just click yes to it. So let's just wait for it. So this is basically the actual setup for XAMPP itself. So there you can see Bitnami. So let's just ignore this pop-up. So let's just click next. As you can see, I shall be leaving the default, all of the default components for the setup of XAMPP. I'll also be using the default directory for the folders, and of course the language shall be English. I'll just click next for that, Bitnami, and then it'll start to begin the installation itself. So let's just ignore this pop-up again. So a little clearing the air here for a question. So I did mention a lot of terminologies that weren't actually properly explained. So we shall explain those first. So first off, I mentioned XAMPP. So what is XAMPP? So XAMPP basically stands for cross-platform Apache, MySQL, PHP, and Perl. So basically, what XAMPP does is it lets you run a server on your local machine. So next is CRUD. What is CRUD? CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. So but in this case, we shall be using insert, select, update, and delete, So that's our keywords or queries for what we'll be using later on the coding part. So CRUD refers to the basic queries of a database. It is basically the queries that manipulate the data within the database itself. So next is MariaDB. What is MariaDB? MariaDB is a database system software. So what is a database system software? From the terminology itself, it's a software for databases. So that's all for clearing out terminologies and such. So as you can see, the installation is Still not yet done. I shall be pausing the recording and I shall see you later after the installation has finished. So there we go. We're just waiting for the setup to respond. Um, there. The setup wizard has already finished its installation, so it'll ask you if you want to open or start the control panel now, and just press finish, and it'll also ask you to run the XAMPP itself. So just press yes for administrative privileges. Just wait for the program to load. There, so this is XAMPP itself. So as you can see, there is Apache and MySQL here. You basically need to download the services for Apache and MySQL. So how do you do that? You basically just click the X boxes here, and it'll ask you to install the Apache service and MySQL service. Just press those two, and when the X's on the boxes turn into checks, that's when you know that Apache and MySQL service has already been installed. It will also show here at the bottom. So you just press start on the actions. You can actually check the services for this to check for MySQL and Apache. I've already passed it. Oops, need to refresh. So there. As you can see, this is Apache. It's already started, and the start is automatic. And then this is the MySQL service, which is what we've seen earlier here in XAMPP. So in order to actually use this, we shall go in command line. So here, as you can see, my command is not the default look. If you want to change the looks of your CMD, you just go to properties, right click the upper part here, and go to properties, and just change the colors as much as you want. So I picked black background into white font because it is easier to see. So the next thing we shall do is code. So actually, I've already prepared all of the codes I will be using here in this tutorial for purposes of convenience, and because it is harder to type in command line than a text editor. It's more manageable too. So this is what I do. So I just copy the text here, then paste it here, and it'll continue to carry out the commands that I pasted. So I'll run you through the commands. So basically, cd ... is basically resetting the directory of the command line. For example, as you can see, it is currently here. It is currently on the computer's name, then users, then C drive. Then when we press CD, which is basically double dot, which means back or backspace, then you just do it again, then go to C, then CD XAMPP. So CD stands for change directory. So here you can see the directory itself. So basically, you want to go here. This is the directory that you want to enter. So it's basically C XAMPP MySQL then bin. So as we can see in the command line, that's what we did. So C XAMPP MySQL then bin. So After that, we can now access MySQL. So MySQL, to access MySQL, you just type in u root space root, which means your username. Yeah, your username. Then dash p for password. We didn't actually set our password, so our password shall be nothing or null or just enter by default. Dash h for host. Our default or local host is 127.0.0.1. So when we enter this, it'll ask for a password. So again, as I told you, we do not have a password here, so we just press enter. So it'll welcome you to MariaDB monitor. So there. As you can remember earlier, I explained what is a MariaDB. So XAMPP uses MariaDB for its database. So next is we shall be creating a database itself. So shall make a database there. So the database we can name the syntax for creating database is create database, then database name followed by a semicolon. So that's basically how you create a database. This is what we did. It gives you a confirmation if the code came through. So there you can see that query OK, the one row affected, and it also shows you how fast it carried out the command itself. So next thing is to use the actual database that we actually made. So we named our database db underscore noobs. So we just enter that. So the database has changed from database. We have no database selected, and then from that command we selected a database. So next thing we do is to create a table. Okay, so we'll create a table. So to create a table, the syntax is create table, table name, then column name for the actual database. So think of a table. So prime key is one of the columns at the very top row of the actual table. So int for data type, obviously for integers, not null, auto increment, and primary key are properties of primary key. Not null, so that it shall never be empty. Auto increment, so that all primary, all content, all data in under primary key shall always be unique to one another. Primary key, we shall set this as our primary key. We shall explain the usage of primary key later into the video. So next is column 1. Varchar is also a data type. So basically it's basically char or like string. Now next is the limit of the data type, which is I've set it to 50, but it can change from like 100, 10, 1000 to 50, 10, whatever number you want, really. Next is column 2, varchar, that's the same. So open, close parenthesis, semicolon. So let's just copy that and paste it into the command line. So as you can see, there's a confirmation code that the query is okay and there are no errors. So in order for you to check the properties of your table, you first need to type in describe, then the table name of the table you want to describe, which is the table we just made, which is table noobs. So what is the purpose of describing tables? So basically, this is what describing tables do. It basically, as it in its word itself, it describes the table from its field, the data type, if it's null or not, the key, which is the prime key is as we said, as primary. By default, it's null. Then extra, we've put auto increment in primary key. You can also put other tables within the database as normally you would be able to. So we can also check that. So you can describe table for show. There. Describe table for show. Just enter. There, you can see its content, its fields. Yeah. Then that you can basically put a lot more numbers of tables within the database. It depends on how you use it, basically. So next thing is we'll have to select all the contents from TBL news, which is the first table that we made. So let's see what happens. So basically the syntax is select asterisk, which means all, from then table name, which is TBL underscore news. So it returned that it is an empty set. So basically what that means is that the table is empty. So the next thing that we shall do is put data into the table. So this is the syntax. First thing is insert into, that's the default. Then TBL underscore noobs, which is the table name. Open parenthesis, primary key, column 1, column 2, column 3, which are all fields, as we can see here on the primary key. Take column 1. Oh wait, I forgot something. I'm so sorry. Before that, we should change something. We can change something in the table. So I shall already teach you alter table first. So there. Alter table is basically used on the word from the term itself. It's used to alter the table. So the syntax is alter table, table name, add column, column try varchar 50 null. So basically column try is the new field name. Here's like one of these. Varchar is the data type, then null again for the null, the true or false of null. So there we go. Just press enter there, then it'll return query okay, that there are no errors for it. So again, let's go back to the inserting of data. So next is to insert data. So basically again, we'll just repeat, insert into the syntax, insert into table name, primary key, column 1, column 2, column 3, which is all the name of the fields. Values, open parenthesis, null, comma, and all of the contents that you want, separated by a comma, enclosed into a single quotation, then a closed bracket, then a semicolon. So let's just enter that. So the query is okay. So we'll want to check how that data looks like from how that data looks like itself. So to check the data, we shall select asterisk, which means all, from tbl underscore news. So we'll just enter that, and as you can see, there is the content that we just entered earlier. So that is test content, more test content, and last test content, which is all the values that we put here. So as you can see, there it is. So we shall just put other contents here. Just insert here. Insert 2 more contents, then check it. There, as you can see, you can put a lot more content into that and a lot more data. You can also leave the spaces as blank, as you can see that I did here. Here I left it blank, so that's why it's blank here. So there we go. That is possible. So next thing is that we want to update the second row to demonstrate the update query. So next is update. So the syntax is update tbl news, which is the table name, set column 1, which is the column you want to change, field that you want to change the data of. So basically column 1 from down here. So this is the field that you want to change, and then we'll go for equal sign, then data enclosed in single quotation marks, where prime key is equal to 2. So what we're targeting here is column 1 and then prime key number 2. So this is the very target, which is test content. So as you can see, this is column 1, then this is prime key, this is field, then this prime key. Actually, you can use different other fields other than the prime key, but it is highly recommended that you use prime key, because you need something that is unique and cannot be repeated, so that the program shall not be confused to which part of the database you want to change. So let's just place that there. So again, update table news, set column 1 equals 1 first content, where prime key is equal to 2. So test content shall change into first test content if everything goes right. So as you can see, query is okay. You just select the select the table again, so it'll show the table. As you can see, it updated the content on the second column. So there you go. We'll just add the other 2. There we go. So that's okay for the queries. Then we'll just select again. So as you can see, it is changed from first test content, second test content, and third test content from the original test content blank and last test content. So that's basically it. So next thing that I'll be showing you is delete the delete query. So basically the syntax is delete from tbl noobs, which is the table name, where this should be prime key, prime underscore key equals 2. So what does this do? Basically it deletes everything in a row of the prime key number 2. So this is the prime key number 2. Actually, I'd want to change that in the middle. I'd like to change it into primary 3. So I'll delete every single data within prime key 3 from prime key to column 3. So it's okay. The code accepted it. The command accepted it, and when we select the database again, it'll only show the prime key 1 and 2 and all of its contents. So another thing you can play around with select is you can actually select if you don't want to show everything like this. Usually you do this from tbl noobs. Usually you do that, but then again you can do this, which is prime underscore key comma column underscore 1 underscore 1 there. That's just for an example. Okay, so what it basically does is it basically only shows what you specified to select or to show or to read, as the CRUD says. So I specified prime key and column 1 field, so the only thing that shows in our database is prime key and column 1 fields. So the next thing we have to do is to drop the table. Basically it deletes the whole table itself. It resets everything. So there we go. The syntax for that is drop table, then table name, semicolon. So when we enter that, query is okay, and we have no table. If we check again for table, it'll give us an error, and it tells us that in database noobs, table noobs does not exist. So that's basically the use of drop table. So it basically deletes the table. So we can also delete the table, drop table for show. So there, it's also deleted. So we select for show, which is the other database that we showed earlier. It shall also not exist anymore. So that's about it in this tutorial video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something or picked up something. Again, I am Cyrus Gerald Villanueva, and this is my project.